Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. My name is Blackjack. As you can see, I'm wearing a Magic the Gathering hoodie today in celebration of this deck tech. This is what I would consider to be my favorite commander deck of all time that I've built. The commander today that I'm going to be showing you is Lord Windgrace. I will post the list on Moxfield. The commander is basically all about lands. And there's a lot of ways to build it. Most people build it with landfall in mind. They play things like Avenger of Zendikar. I do not play anything like that. I am playing a lot of lands. I'm playing a lot of mana ramp. And my main win conditions we will get to, but they are not creature based. This is a very, very controlling Lord Windgrace shell. This is all about slugging the game out, getting to 25, 30 lands on the battlefield, and then winning with one big spell in one go. Let's get started with the land package. I don't know what the number is off the top of my head, but I will show you all of them, and then you'll be able to check the Moxfield list. Rakdos Carnarium. Any kind of bounce land is really good in not Lord Rakdos, in Lord Windgrace, just because you get multiple land drops a turn. Cabal Coffers, amazing. Maze of Ith, a great card that counts as a land, but also is essentially a spell because there's a lot of times where it can save you. Cinderglade, Canyon Slough, cycling land. The old school Triomes come into play tap Savage Lands. Let me see if I can get this in a way that's a little bit more... There we go. Urborg obviously pairs with Cabal Coffers. Fetchland, Scalding Tarn, Command Tower, Golgari Rot Farm, another bounce land. Glacial Chasm, this is a major way to buy time in this deck, being able to essentially negate all combat damage for a couple of turns, buy yourself time to set up. Zatoria's Proving Ground, just a basic forest, another fetch land, Windswept Heath, Rootbound Crag, Arid Mesa, Strip Mine. I do not just go around strip mining everyone. If you talk trash, I will attempt to strip mine you out of the game with multiple strip mines a turn, or if you have like a Gaia's Cradle. But other than that, this is really just here just in case. I'm not attempting to strip mine everyone out of the game. Spire Garden, another forest, Undergrowth Stadium, Swamp, Gruul Turf, Overgrown Tomb, another swamp, a mountain, a forest, a woodland cemetery, stomping ground, blood crypt, luxury suite, blood-stained mire. Let's try it on this side, this lighting. Wasteland, same idea. I'm not looking to ruin anybody's day. This is more insurance policy. Sheltered Thicket, Lotus Field, Boseiju, answers tons of stuff on the board, great card, and you can buy it back. Dragon Skull Summit, Fell the Profane, another card that's a spell, but it's actually also a land. Field of the Dead, one of the major win cons of the deck. There might come a time where one of my spells gets countered that wins the game, and I'm going to win just off making multiple land drops a turn and having an army of zombies. Bajuka Bog, Dark Depths, one of the major win cons, is making a 2020. Ideally, if we can get to a point where we're doing it every turn at the end of the end step before my turn, always having a flying indestructible 2020 at the ready to attack. Nurturing Peatland, Wooded Foothills, Swamp, Mountain, Verdant Catacombs, and Thespian Stage, which is the other combo piece with the Dark Depths in order to make those 20/20s. You do have to have both of those in play to do it consistently. We have Renin 6. This is the only Planeswalker in the deck. It buys back lands, it can pick off little creatures, and then it can eventually gives my spells retrace, so it is a win condition on its own. But more often than not, it's just getting me lands back and being a scary threat early. A little bit of a card advantage. We'll go to the artifacts. There's only a couple. There's Soul Ring, obviously for ramp. Crucible of Worlds, and Conduit of Worlds, both cards that are purely here to let me cast, or not cast, but play lands out of my graveyard over and over again to continue to get value out of them. The instant package. So we have a Textless Horror, a Constant Mists, another way to buy myself time. I can sack a land to prevent all combat damage and buy it back. With the amount of lands I have in my hand normally and the amount of lands that I can play, this essentially just has free buyback for a fog that you can cast every turn. Realms Uncharted. This is typically going to get Thespian Stage, Dark Depths, and then any other 2 lands you want. Field of the Dead, Lotus Field, all of your heavy-hitting lands. Crop Rotation, you're getting the same things essentially. Cabal Coffers, Urborg, Dark Depths, Thespian Stage, those are normally your first 4 go-tos. And Entomb typically is just going to get something like a Life from the Loam to start our engine pieces. Next, we will go to enchantments. I have a Walk-in Closet / Forgotten Cellar. Basically just another version of the extra lands. Play lands out of your graveyard. A Valakut Exploration. Little bit of card advantage based on the amount of lands we're playing. Case, how do you remember the name of this? Case of the Locked Hothouse. Extra land drops every turn. We play all of them that we can. Exploration, same thing. Extra land drops every turn. Ripples of Undeath, we can normally get lands out of our graveyard very easily, and we're playing over 40. So being able to mill those and draw actual spells and still utilize the lands in the graveyard is an awesome way to get advantage. Meat Hook Massacre. This is the beginning of many, many, many board wipes in this deck. Again, I am not winning with Avenger of Zendikar or Rampaging Baloths. I am winning with cards like Torment of Hailfire, Cut to Ribbons, Exsanguinate, and I am looking to wipe the board every turn or every other turn to make sure that I'm safe while I do that. So next is going to be sorceries. Blasphemous Act, board wipe. Black Sun Zenith, board wipe. Exsanguinate, one of our main win cons. We're normally looking to cast this for, roughly 20 plus if we can. Casualties of War handles anything we need it to. Hour of Promise goes and gets specific lands. Again, Cabal Coffers, Urborg are your first 2. And then once you're ready to win the game, you're looking for Thespian Stage Dark Depths. Nylea's Intervention, same thing. 3 Visits is ramp. Life from the Loam. A lot like Ripples of Undeath, able to sift through the top of our library and still gain us a lot of advantage. Rampant Growth. Nature's Lore. Kloth's Will can hit people but also wipe the board. Decimate, kind of a catch-all answer. Cut to Ribbons, another major win con if we can flash this back or cast the other side of the graveyard for 20 plus. Scape Shift can be a win con on its own. Farseek, more ramp. Gamble, going to get Life from the Loam or one of our major lands. Torment of Hailfire, the main win con. I've cast this for over 30 multiple times in this deck. Lavalanche, Toxic Deluge, Kodama's Reach, Gaze of Granite, Genesis Wave. If you're playing green and you have a lot of mana, you should be playing Genesis Wave. Being able to get 10, 12, 15, 25 permanents into play on one card is incredible. And cultivate. So again, as you look through the deck, all you're seeing so far is board control and mana ramp, and that's all this is aiming to do. So I do have a creature package, but none of it is looking to win the game in the way Avengers Zendikar would. Elvish Reclaimer, more ways to find our special lands. Gitrog monsters, extra land drops. Wayward Swordtooth's extra land drops. Sakura Tribe Elder's ramp. Corsair Crewfix is playing lands from the top as well as gaining life. Hugs, extra land drops. Nissa, Vastwood Seer, extra land drops and flips into a Planeswalker. Lotus Cobra really ramps you more than you'd expect. Even when this card was printed years and years and years ago, no one expected it to be as good as it was when it first came out. But as soon as you play 1 or 2 fetch lands and you're generating 2 to 4 extra mana a turn, you realize just how crazy it is. Mina and Den, extra land drops. Soul of Windgrace. Obviously, I have to have the Soul of Windgrace in here if I'm playing Lord Windgrace. He's good. Every part of him is good, but mostly it's thematic. Azusa, land drops. Dryad Elysian Grove, land drops. Soin Michael Spawn, land drops. Oracle Moldiah, land drops. And last but not least, Loot the Exuberant Explorer, more land drops. So, the entire point of this deck, play 2 to 5 lands a turn out of your graveyard, out of your hand. Lord Windgrace, all you're looking to do with this guy is plus and minus. We never want to ultimate him. We want to use this as a card advantage engine. Ideally, we are plussing him every turn and discarding a land from our hand to draw 2. And then we're using a spell that we're playing to let us play lands out of graveyards. So we can not only discard that for 2 cards, but then still play it out of our graveyard. So his plus ability becomes essentially an Ancestral Recall, drawing 3 cards on 1 ability. If that is not happening and we don't have a way to get lands out of our graveyard, we can still minus him to get the important things out, like the Cabal Coffers and the Urborg, in order to start generating a lot of mana. This deck is looking to operate between 15 and 30 mana every turn, and then find Cabal Coffers and Urborg as fast as you can, make that number closer to 40 to 50, and then land your big Sanguinate, your big Cut to Ribbons, your big Torment of Hailfire to just wipe the whole board away. Meanwhile, you've been board wiping every other turn and removing every threat that's out there, buying yourself time with Constant Mists and buying yourself time with Glacial Chasms so nobody can hurt you all the while. It is probably my favorite deck of all time. I've had different variations of him since he was originally made as a precon in, what was it, 2013, 2014? It was a long time ago. And still to this day, I just love what he provides. I love what he does. So I really hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you enjoyed watching the deck tech with me. I hope you maybe got some inspiration for a different way to build Lord Windgrace other than Avenger Zendikar and make a bunch of plants. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, Godspeed.